We both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo.
Happy Friday, everyone. Jo here of SportsGrid. You're watching a Puck It with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice today. Now, we saw the Ottawa Senators pull off the win over the Florida Panthers, so I hope you jumped on that. We did have some games go disappointing, but Celebrini of the Sharks coming out and getting a goal in his debut. Fantastic to see. We got another rookie we're going to be circling today as well out there on the ice. I do think there's a lot of opportunities to make some money. Only 4 games today on the ice. Of course, a loaded slate tomorrow. We will be live again tomorrow morning and every single day here over on SportsGrid TV at noon Eastern. So make sure you guys always check out the show for picks, props, and predictions in all of these games. Now, tomorrow's show will be a little bit longer, so you guys grab your coffees and tune in. But let's jump into these games today. I'm happy, Larry. It is Friday as well. It's time to make some freaking money out there on the ice. Now, we're going to look at the first one here. The Tampa Bay Lightning are taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, the Hurricanes are the favorite at home, and rightly so. This team absolutely dominated at home last season. They're coming in here minus 146 on the money line. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning over on FanDuel plus 122. This total sitting at 6.5. Now the juice to this total is on the under at minus 120 under 6.5. When we look last season at Carolina, this team was so strong defensively. Frederik Andersen will be in net tonight. Frederik Andersen, when healthy, is one of the best goaltenders in the whole league. Now, he's had some issues with blood clotting, so he did miss a lot of last season. But the games that he did play in, he had a 1.84 goals against average. He allowed 3 or fewer games in 15 of the 16 starts that he had, and 2 or fewer goals in 13 of those. So he's been absolutely lights out on the ice coming into this season from what we saw out of him last season. He has had some time off out there. He'll be facing a Tampa Bay Lightning team here that is without Steven Stamkos. Stamkos moving on from this team. It truly does start a new era for this league because it's weird to see Steven Stamkos on any other team. He actually looked really good last night out there on the ice, but for him not to be in the Tampa Bay Lightning uniform, it's odd, you guys. Now, Vasilevsky will be in net tonight for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we know emotionally the Tampa Bay Lightning will be dealing with concerns, right? Because of the hurricane and everything, they've already postponed the game. These two were supposed to play a back-to-back. They were supposed to play again tomorrow in Tampa. They postponed that game. They're taking on the Carolina Hurricanes here in this one, and this is a matchup where we have seen Tampa actually dominate. They won 2 of the 3 meetings last season in the regular season, and the road team has held the upper hand in these matchups. We're getting the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I know they're going to be their minds could be elsewhere, but I think these hockey players will be stepping up for this game. You got to look at Jake Guentzel here as well. Jake Guentzel is my favorite player to really bet on in this game. He was with the Carolina Hurricanes for part of last season, and he was traded over to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So the Tampa Bay Lightning with Jake Guentzel have added to their forwards. And yes, Steven Stamkos will be missed, but I do think Jake Guentzel is really going to step up in this one tonight. I'm taking him for the anytime goal at plus 160, and I do think the Tampa Bay Lightning can continue the trend of playing Carolina strong. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning straight up on the money line at plus 116. I think they have every opportunity. The only time Tampa rolled into Carolina last season, there was one game in Carolina, they did beat them 8-2, and that was back in November of last season towards the end. So I think they have every opportunity of coming out here nice and strong. We look at all the moving pieces on both of these teams. While we look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, they have lost a couple of key places. I do think the Carolina Hurricanes have lost more. And I think these lines will take a couple of minutes to get worked out. Now, Sebastian Aho is still on this team. So if you're looking for a player two circle for Carolina. Sebastian Aho had 36 goals last season, 53 assists for a total of 69 points. So he's definitely someone you want to look at. But Tara Vinen being gone from this team, I think that's huge for them out there. There's so many players that have moved. So give me the Tampa Bay Lightning in this one. Give me Jake Gunsel for the anytime goal. He's going to be on that top line with Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. You guys know how much I love Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. Now, the point market isn't up yet on FanDuel. Actually, let's just check to see if it has gone up right now. Because I think if you want to do anything, yes, we got the player point market up. Everyone for 1+ point is way too juiced. But if you put Nikita Kucherov, Jake Gunsel, and Braden Point in a same game parlay, all three of them for that point, it's coming in at -106. So you're going to have Braden Point at center and the other two guys bookmarking him on the other side. So Kucherov and Gunsel. I do think all three of them can get a point tonight. So Kucherov, Braden Point, and Jake Gunsel coming in here all for a point parlay together at -106. Now, I do think they have the opportunity of getting 2+ points each of them, but then I wouldn't parlay it. So Kucherov is at +126. Jake Gunsel is at +215. He would be my main circle here just because he's facing a team that he did play on last season. And then Braden Point at +280 for the 2+ points. These three, I think, are going to be one of the best line combinations in the whole league this season. So watch for them, bet on them. Who's going to get the goal? Well, I think Jake Gunsel. I already told you guys that. And again, Jake Gunsel coming in for the anytime goal at +160. So if you want to look at anyone for Carolina, Sebastian Aho's +170 and Seth Jarvis coming in at +200. Happy Friday, everyone. Bedard for the anytime goal. Larry's coming in with the Chicago Blackhawks. You know he's got to get on the board tonight. And Aho for 1+ points. I like where you're going there. Dustin, happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there tuning in. We are live on SportsGrid TV on X, so thank you everyone for joining us there, as well as over on YouTube. Now, if you haven't downloaded the SportsGrid app, go over and check it out. It's everywhere you can download that app. It's you can follow me. There's so many things you can do over on the app. You can even watch the live shows, which I am live all weekend over on the grid. So tune in, you guys. Let's talk the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Now, the Winnipeg Jets, okay, they are off that big win over the Edmonton Oilers. That game did not go anywhere as I thought planned. I think the Winnipeg Jets really had a great team to come in and beat the Edmonton Oilers, and the Oilers shot themselves in the foot. I couldn't believe Connor McDavid was held off that scoreboard. And you look at Kyle Connor, yes, he got us the goal, but I didn't expect the Jets to be able to do what they did in that game. Now they're back at home. They're -260 favorites, though, over on FanDuel right now, you guys, and that's just way too much juice on this team. The best of the line is really coming in the Chicago Blackhawks at +210, but this is a Chicago Blackhawks team that absolutely struggled in their last game out versus a team that was playing strong, but again, the Winnipeg Jets played even stronger in their opening game. Now, +1.5 on that puck line for the Chicago Blackhawks is at -122. If you like the Winnipeg Jets laying the 1.5, it's at +102. A total of 5.5 in this one. -140 to the over. So much juice to that over, and +114 to the under in this one. I do think this one goes over that total. We were looking less than an hour ago. Now that it's -140, we're losing the best of that number. It was -134 before. If you guys have tuned in and watched the show, I hate laying a lot of juice. I normally go up to -144 as my personal rule of how much juice I want to lay. I'm a huge bettor on the underdogs and finding that plus money. So looking at this line right now, the over 5.5 at that price, I just think it's too much. I think at this point, then we start breaking down who we think is going to score the majority of those goals and look at those team totals to see if we can get some more value. So let's just look at that, you guys, because I hadn't looked at the team values or the team totals before coming in, because I did like it -134, the over 5.5. The Winnipeg Jets are rolling in with a total of 3.5. It's -122 to the over. So if you like Winnipeg, you think they can get 4 goals, you're laying less juice there, and then you don't have to worry about Chicago. If you like Chicago, you only have to take them over 2.5 goals, and that's coming in at +112. Now, we know they were able to get their 2 goals versus Utah on the road in their last game. They're on the road again here. The Winnipeg Jets, this could be a letdown off of that big win that they planned so much for the Edmonton Oilers in. I do think if I was looking at either of these totals, I think this could be a 4-3 style game. I actually think it's going to be higher than the books think because I do believe in Chicago to come out and put some goals on the board tonight. So I would lean to the over 2.5 with the Chicago Blackhawks and get that plus money, hoping they can get 3 in this one. Now, who do I think are going to get the goals for the Chicago Blackhawks in this? I do like Tyler Bertuzzi. Tyler Bertuzzi coming in here at plus 290. Now, this is kind of a revenge factor. He did play for Winnipeg last season. Remember, Winnipeg picked up him and Monahan to try to improve this team offensively. They let them go going into this upcoming season. As soon as they picked them up, this team, we expected so much more out of them with these playmakers added, and I did too. Something didn't work with the Winnipeg Jets adding to their forward depth, and it just was their defense that didn't play as strong. They went from such a strong defensive team, such strong goaltending, to picking up forwards where we thought they would be a more complete team and could make a run into the playoffs for the cup, and they just weren't able to. So now Tyler Toffoli is facing a former team, and Tyler Toffoli, if you track his career, the amount of teams he has been on, he always has a revenge factor, it seems, out there any given week. But I do think in this one, Tyler Toffoli will know how to score on Connor Hellebuyck. So I'm looking at Tyler Bertuzzi, sorry. Tyler Toffoli is not on here. Tyler Bertuzzi, I got my Tylers mixed up, but Tyler Bertuzzi here was with the Maple Leafs. I do think he has always played the Winnipeg Jets strong. So Tyler Bertuzzi for the anytime goal at plus 290. Now, if you're looking at Connor Bedard for the 2+ points, and he had 2+ points in the last game and an assist. So if you're looking at him for the 2+ points, I think it's a strong way to go. The anytime goal coming in at plus 210. Nick Fangio coming in here, he had a goal last game. His goal in this one is plus 440. If you think the Chicago Blackhawks can go over that goal total, you're looking at, you got to have Fangio really step up. You've got to have Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard is the driver of this offense. You've got Hall as well. You need these playmakers. And Teravainen. Teravainen for the goal, I actually do think is a solid way to go. Now, he could get that assist off Connor Bedard. He's coming in at plus 290. He's on the top line in the top power play with Connor Bedard here. When we're looking at Winnipeg, you got to look at Kyle Connor for the anytime goal. He cashed his money last game versus Edmonton. He's coming in at plus 115. Now, Mason Appleton, someone who really hasn't been on my radar a lot. We look at him in that game versus Edmonton. He was able to get 2 assists and a goal versus the Edmonton Oilers. If you think he can get that goal tonight, great. Plus money at plus 500. For myself, I think the best bet is looking at the over, depending on which team you think will put up the majority of the points, is where you'd go with this over. Sonnenblom is expected in goal for Chicago, and Chicago has had those defensive issues. So if you just want to lay the juice on the over 3.5 here for the Winnipeg Jets at minus 122, I do think it's a solid way to go. Again, if you take the over on the Chicago Blackhawks, expecting them to get 3 goals in this game, you're going to get plus money at plus 112. The over 5.5, again, it's minus 140. If you're willing to lay the juice, I do think it goes over. I already bet the over 5.5 at minus 134. Okay. The Philadelphia Flyers taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Now, Vancouver off that loss to my Calgary Flames in a game where they absolutely dominated in that first period. They were up 4-1 in that first period. It looked like Calgary was going to lose that game, only for Calgary to come back and get the win. They were able to score, 6 unanswered goals, 5 unanswered goals. It was crazy what Calgary was able to do out there on the ice. A lot of people believing this is a true rebuild for Calgary, and it is, but I do think we got young, scrappy, hungry players. Now, Vancouver. What's the issues with Vancouver? It's defensively. That defense, offensively, I'm not worried. They're able to score those goals. Defense and goaltending. Langenkamp is expected in net tonight, and Urchin here for the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, this is the Flyers' first game on the season, and I do think, even though this team struggled to score last season, they played strong defense. They had a great kill out there on the ice, and this is a team that really did start off the season strong, where they were getting these wins, but then we saw the loss of Carter Hart. we lost Carter Hart, and then Ergen had to step in, and he started to fail. So Ergen looked stronger when he didn't have the pressure of being the number one goalie. As soon as that pressure got on him for being the number one goalie, which is a scary situation because he's the number one goalie this season. Now, his backup, I really don't trust him. Ivan Fedotov is his backup, and I do think this is probably one of the worst combos in the NHL. And I hate to say that, I hate to put down on players, but they just don't have the strength that some other teams do in goals. So what we're going to need from the Philadelphia Flyers is they need that support on defense. They absolutely need their defense to be able to kill those penalties like they did last season, and they need their defense to give the protection to their goaltender. They cannot afford to allow 28, 29, 30 shots on their goaltender per game. Offensively, we need that step up. Now, offensively, that step up should come this season. We talked about rookies. We talked about Celebrini last night, and we do have Mishkov coming in here for them. And I do think Mishkov will be impactful right out of the gate for the Philadelphia Flyers. I do think he could get the goal tonight. We saw Celebrini get it last night. Mishkov for the goal coming in at plus 270. It's going to be fantastic to see this kid out there on the ice. He will be on the top line in the top power play with Konecki, and I think these two will be an ultimate pair out there on the ice. Now, Mishkov is already the favorite for the Calder Trophy, so if you want to jump on him, value will be lost after tonight, and I do think he has every ability of getting the Calder Trophy. So, young, fast team here for the Philadelphia Flyers. I think they can be impactful. I'm going to look at their team total tonight, over 2.5 goals. That's coming in at minus 130. I know it's juicy, but I do think there could be a possibility of an upset in this one as well out of the Philadelphia Flyers, even though they're in Vancouver. I think it's worth a little sprinkle on the Flyers at plus 130. I know Vancouver's awful loss. I know Vancouver can score, and I know this team struggled to score last season, but I do think the Flyers will have that game plan that we've seen other teams have coming into that first game of the season to beat a stronger opponent. Now, this is the first night of a back-to-back for the Philadelphia Flyers as well. They have Calgary on deck tomorrow, so they need to start the season off on the right foot with the back-to-back on deck tomorrow. You know they're going to be hungry to get the win tonight before going into Calgary tomorrow. So I don't know. Brock Besner has the ability to get those points on the board for Vancouver. Quinn Hughes had 2 assists in the last game, and JT Miller had a goal and an assist. Elias Pettersson, definitely someone you want to circle here. Over on his assist tonight, I think is a good look as well. Last game on deck, you guys, and let me know what you're liking and what you're betting in tonight's action, which picks you're tailing and which picks you are fading. So the St. Louis Blues versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, St. Louis is one of those teams that has overachieved so far already on a lot of people's expectations. They're sitting 2-0 on the season. They're on the second night of a back-to-back here, though, and they went to overtime last night. So this is a hard place for them. This is a team that never says die in these games. Live betting opportunities when this team goes down early. Back on them on that puck line plus 1.5. Looks like it's going to be golden this season, so something to watch for, you guys. They keep fighting back in these games. Now, that overtime loss to the overtime win over the San Jose Sharks was awesome last night, winning it. I believe it was 5-4 finish there. Now, we did see a lot of shots on goal out of Braden Shen. He had 7 shots on goal. Tonight, you can take Braden Shen of the St. Louis Blues for over 3+ shots on goal at plus 130. Value, especially when he had 7 last night. If you think he's going to find the back of the net on Adin Hill, he's coming in at plus 300. Now, yes, this is a tough spot for the St. Louis Blues. They are playing their second night of a back-to-back and their third game in 4 days. You've got to think fatigue has to hit them at some point. When will it hit them, though? First period, second period, third period. I can see the Vegas Golden Knights wearing them down. I'm expecting defense and goaltending to step up in this game. I know we saw Vegas versus Colorado get that 8-4 win. Mark Stone looking absolutely phenomenal out there. And I do think Vegas at some point will get those goals on the board, but you look at Jordan Binnington here. Jordan Binnington is strong for the St. Louis Blues. He saved 28 of 30 shots on his net by the Seattle Kraken in that first game. And I do think in this one, we can see Jordan Binnington do enough for us that first period stays under 1.5 goals. Yes, under 1.5 goals is where I will ride with this game. The under 1.5 in the first period comes in at -106. Now, I also like the no goals in the first 10 minutes. You got to hold your breath. You got to hope your goalies are completely sharp as soon as they are right out of the gate in the game for the no goals in the first 10 minutes. I always like betting goals in the first 5 and no goals in the first 10. You're always getting great plus money. No goals in the first 10 minutes coming in at +114. When I like a game under the 1.5, I do expect it to be hard for either of these teams to score in the first 10 minutes or in the first period altogether. Aiden Hill, we know he's strong for the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas did allow Colorado to score some goals in that game, but I do think they locked down in this one on St. Louis. In St. Louis, I do think fatigue will wear in. That is why I'm not playing the under for the full game, and that is why I'm only playing the first period under 1.5 and the no goals in the 10 minutes, because I don't want that fatigue to hit. Now, I do think this team is stronger defensively than a lot of people give them the respect for. Special teams is not where I want to see them, though. I need the special teams to step up. They allowed a shorty in one of their games so far. They failed to convert on 2 power plays, and they only killed 1 of 2 penalties. So we need that special teams unit to really step up if they want to be able to get the win. So they've had wins over the Seattle Kraken and the Sharks. Again, lower competition here than the Vegas Golden Knights. We know Vegas will bring their A game, especially rolling with momentum off that win versus Colorado. Bruce Cassidy back for the 3rd season as well. Jack Eichel had 4 assists in that last game. Barbashev also had 2 goals. Mark Stone had 2 goals. So those playmakers, we knew Jack Eichel had to step up this season. I think we will see more out of him. And then let's see, who can we look at? I'm just looking at some goal scorers here for Vegas and who I'm liking. Now, I can never say his name. Pavel Dorofeyev. I believe it. This is how you spell it. Dorofeyev. Whenever I try to read it, I cannot. So that is who I think could get a goal, because you look at him versus Jordan Binnington. He's actually been strong versus Jordan Binnington. I remember one game, I believe it was last season, where he did score a goal. It came off his head, I believe, but he's had some really strong goals versus Jordan Binnington. We were able to see him in 3 games against them last season. He was able to put a goal in the net twice. So I do think he is someone you look at here in this one. And then Shen of the St. Louis Blues for that anytime goal at +300, I think is worth a shot. And the shots on goal, 3+ shots on goal. This might be a good shots on goal game for these players like Mark Stone, as I do think, and Jack Eichel. I do think Binnington is going to be strong. Now, let's just look if there's any props right now on Jordan Binnington save shots to the over. There was none coming into the show here, you guys, and I do think we're getting limited bets right now on those goalie props. I am not seeing a lot of them. I'm not seeing a lot of them early. If they do pop off on the books, they're popping off late. Jordan Binnington, if his number is sitting at 28.5, I like it to the over 28.5 save shots on goal. If you can find that on your books. If he's clicking closer to the 29, 30 shots on goal, I would stay off of it. I think we've got some great games out there on the ice, you guys. Let me know. Benji going with the Golden Knights tonight. Good luck with your Golden Knights. I think they're in for a fantastic season. I really do like what Cassidy's been able to do with this team. But you guys, we got a loaded slate of games tomorrow that will kick off with the Boston Bruins taking on the LA Kings. The Kings able to get the win the other night. And then we roll into night games that don't kick off till 7 o'clock Eastern. That will start off with Utah versus the Rangers. Utah, another team that has been sneaky good on the season, able to get the win over the Islanders last night, which I did not expect, on the road as well. So they started the season off 2-0. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Thanks for joining me here on Pocket with Jo over on SportsGrid TV. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice tonight. Drop your best bets. Let me know what you like. Do me a favor and share and retweet this video so we get more eyes on it, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Let's make some freaking money.
Hit some anytime goal scorers